You're listening to an Airwave Media Podcast.
Welcome to From Beneath the Hollywood Sign. If you love old movies, Hollywood history, or the golden age of filmmaking, you've come to the right place. This is the podcast that talks about amazing stories of Tinseltown from another era and fascinating conversations with writer-producer Steve Cubine and actress-writer Nan McNamara.
So, Steve, did Ava Gardner and Howard Hughes have a good relationship?
Well, they did until he dislocated her jaw.
What?
Well, don't worry. She hit him back with an ashtray.
From Beneath the Hollywood Sign is the gin joint for you.
Recorded in Chicago, Illinois, with your hosts, Ken, Matt, Neil, and Jeff. This is Triviality. The cream of the crop!
Hello and welcome to Triviality, the game where a lack of seriousness meets a little bit of knowledge. My name is Jeff and I will be your host today. Joining me for today's game as scorekeeper is Ken. How's it going, Ken?
Hey, what's up?
And who are our players today?
All right, today we are going to have a battle of the titans between Matt and Neil. It's a grudge match.
Yep.
Currently the scores are 0-0.
Yeah, Matt needs a W, and he was saying today is going to be a tables, ladders, and chairs match. So someone's going to have to get that table, and Matt will be going through it. Yeah. Okay. Talking trash a little early. We'll see how this goes.
All right, well, let's get underway, guys. Just as a reminder, Ken, you mind letting us know what the rules of the game are?
Absolutely. So the game is 20 questions in a variety of topics, worth 10 points apiece, and split into 2 rounds. At halftime, there will be a special swing round designed by our host, Jeff, where players can take a larger lead or gain some ground for a comeback. At the end of regulation, players will enter the final round. With the points that they've accumulated, they can place their wagers 0 to 30 points in the categorized questions. And at the end of the game, somebody will be named the cream of the crop.
I am the cream.
Thanks, Ken. Matt, you ready to play?
I am ready to play.
Neil, are you ready?
I was born ready.
All right, well then let's start Triviality for today with question 1. Which country has 3 capitals, including Pretoria?
All I could think of is the episode of Family Guy where he annexed his part of the house and names it Pretoria.
All I can think of is the bad children's movie Prehysteria with mini dinosaurs.
That helps nobody.
If it helps, I won't give you the one that you'll almost certainly give you the answer, but I could give you the other capital if that would be useful for both of you.
Sure.
Yeah.
So this capital, so there's Pretoria and Bloemfontein.
All right, I have an answer.
Okay.
Okay, I have an answer.
Okay. Let's see who's less confident here. Let's go to Neil first.
I just put Belgium. I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, I also said Belgium.
Wow. So if I said Cape Town was the third capital.
South Africa?
Yeah.
It is South Africa. South Africa has 3 separate capitals, one for the presidential branch, one for the legislative branch, and one for the judicial branch of their governments.
Oh.
What about the Golden Girls Blanche?
God.
Because you said Blanche. I'm sorry.
Branch. So yes,
That's okay.
Branch.
I think it's amazing that we both came up with the same extremely wrong answer. So
Well, when he said Bloemfontein, I was
know.
like, oh, German and a little bit of French. I'm just going to go Belgium.
Yep.
Yeah. So I knew Cape Town would be the dead giveaway on that one, so
Yeah.
I wanted to make it a little more challenging. So, all right, question 2. In 1815, Napoleon suffered a defeat at what famous battle?
I only know one battle that he lost at, so it's probably not that one, but I'm going to say it.
Apparently I need to study Napoleon a lot harder than I have been. It seems like this comes up every single week. I have no idea, but I have a guess in. So
Okay. So Neil looked a little bit more confident there. What would you say, Neil?
I just put Waterloo.
yeah,
All right.
Waterloo is definitely right. I made up something and put Little Horn. I don't even know what that means.
So Waterloo is absolutely correct. That was one of Napoleon's famous battles. He did lose others, but that is certainly one of the most notable and probably basically the end of his military career. With any certainty. Mm-hmm. Question 3, and I'm just going to state here that this is not a trick question. How many cubes are in a Rubik's Cube? And what I mean by that is I'm not counting the whole cube as one cube. I mean little individual cubes. I'm not trying to play meta games here with math.
Okay, so like 4 wouldn't be another cube. You're talking about
Correct.
the individual
I'm not
cubes.
talking about, yes, I'm not talking about how many cubes can you make. I'm talking about how many cubes does it take to manufacture a Rubik's Cube.
All right.
So I have no idea, but I kind of did a very rough drawing of a guess, and on that guess I did some rough mathematics on another guess. So I have a number.
Yeah, same here.
All right. Well, Matt, I'll kick it to you.
So I think it's 5 by 5 is the length by height, which would be 25 cubes per side. There's 6 sides at 25 times 6, and I came up with 150.
Okay. And to you, Neil.
For some reason, I drew 5 across, 4 down. So I did 20 times 6, so I did 120.
Okay. Rubik's Cube is 3 by 3. So there are 2 ways to do the math on this. One is you count all of the sides, then you take out the corners and make it very complicated, or you just cut it into 3 equal parts. Each one has 9. 3 times 9 is 27, but there's no cube in the middle, so it's 26.
Wow. Okay.
So I was only off by roughly 120. So.
Yes, that
Almost
is
there.
accurate.
Yeah, we were so close.
We were both very close.
All right, on to question 4. Who was the voice of Zazu in Disney's The Lion King?
Zazu. I don't remember which character that is.
That's the toucan.
This is tough. So I'm trying to knock out all of the other cast members. You have JTT and Matthew Broderick playing Simba. You got James Earl Jones. You got Jeremy Irons. You got Nathan Lane. You got Whoopi Goldberg. Got Rowan Atkinson.
So just as a bit of side trivia, Zazu is a red-billed hornbill. That's what kind of bird he is.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm in with a wrong answer.
All right. Same.
All right. So, Neil, you seem to have most of the cast down. Why don't you let me know what your thoughts were?
Well, yeah, I know basically everyone in the cast except for this bird. So I just, for a little Easter egg for Pixar, I just put John Ratzenberger.
Mm-hmm.
And Matt?
I put my favorite bird character, Bobcat Goldthwait.
So Neil, you had it in your list.
Oh, it's Rowan Atkinson, isn't it?
It's Rowan Atkinson.
Who did you think Rowan? Mr. Bean played?
I thought he was one of the hyenas with Whoopi Goldberg. Well, that makes me so angry because I was going down the cast list.
I know, and when you said it, I tried not to have it tell here because I was just like, oh, good. Like, he's got it. All right, so question 5. Normally it is our listener-submitted question. We don't have one today, so I went ahead and just put one in myself. If you've got a great question for us that you'd like to send, we'd love to incorporate it into our game. Just make sure you send us an email at trivialitypodcast@gmail.com and put in the subject line question 5. We'll pick one listener-submitted question every week or every round to make sure that we've got it incorporated into our game. So question 5 today, it's going to be lyrics. I'm going to read lyrics to a song, and I want you to tell me what song it is. If you can give me the artist, that's great too, but I'm not going to give you anything extra for that. So the lyrics to this song include, house so empty, need a centerpiece, 20 racks a table cut from ebony, cut that ivory into skinny pieces, then she clean it with her face. Man, I love my baby.
Yeah, that does nothing for me.
No, yeah, I need something else.
Sure. I'll finish the stanza here. You talking money, need a hearing aid. You talking about me, I don't see a shade. Switch up my style, I take any lane. I switch up my cup, I kill any pain. Just wanted to be known that this song is quite popular currently.
Oh, that's not right, but I don't care. I'm in.
You can change it.
Nah.
Neil hasn't submitted an answer yet.
Nah. I'm not going to get a less wrong answer. So.
Okay. I can't think of the name of the song. I'm putting the band. I don't know.
With his less wrong answer, let's go to Matt.
Bitch better have my money. By Rihanna.
And to you, Neil?
I just put Imagine Dragons. I couldn't think of an Imagine Dragons song, but
Radioactive's the one that we hear on repeat all day, every day.
Radioactive, that was the one I was thinking of, yeah.
And it's just so good.
Any guesses here, Ken?
No.
I will give you a hint. I made a joke about this once when we were together about I liked the cross imagery used in the music video.
I don't know.
This would be Starboy by The Weeknd.
Oh.
All right, on to question 6. Would you find a meteor, meteorite, or an asteroid on Earth? Oof. That is to say, after it has impacted.
Well, at least I have a 30% chance of getting this right.
All right, my answer's in.
All right.
Yeah, I'm in.
Okay.
Why not?
And Neil, with more of the confidence here.
I don't know if my logic is correct, but I was thinking that if it was in space coming towards Earth, it would be either a meteor or an asteroid. But if it was on Earth, you would have in your hand some meteorite. So I put meteorite.
Yeah, mine was similar logic. I'm pretty sure that an asteroid is something while it's in space, and a meteor is something that can collide with Earth. But once it does, the pieces of it become meteorites.
It is indeed a meteorite. Well done to both of you.
Mm-hmm.
Neil has 20 points, and Matt just got on the board with 10.
Yeah.
Well, see, what we're doing here is we want the listeners to, have some suspense in what the final score will be. So we're trying not to score too much early.
Yeah.
Moving on to question 7. Which commonplace condiment started out as a brine of pickled fish in China before evolving into its current form?
Sounds good.
It's a common condiment.
Yep, very commonplace condiment.
I'm locked in. With
So
something.
that is to say there is no brine of pickled fish in it anymore.
What is a brine?
No, that's part of the question, sir.
Ah, a brine of pickled fish. All right, I guess I'm in. It's wrong, but...
Okay. Matt was in first. Why don't you let me know what your answer was?
I was thinking something that was popular with Chinese food, and I believe has some of those ingredients, is soy sauce.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good guess.
And,
I put relish, which is not right.
So brine is a solution in salt water, but despite its origins and its name, ketchup started adding in other ingredients, including things such as grape, but then eventually became the ketchup that we know today.
What about catsup?
Alternate pronunciation.
Yeah.
All right, question 8. Which country with 329 medals in the Winter Olympics has not just the most per capita, but the most total?
Total over all time?
Yep, 329 medals in all Winter Olympics. I believe that figure is through 2014.
Per capita is making me think that it's...
Yeah, not what you think it is.
Right, that's what's... Now it's throwing me off because I had an answer, but...
I have an answer.
You're in? So... I wrote down Canada, but per capita is making me think it's somewhere really small. I have other ideas in my head, but I'm just going to stick with Canada.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and so Neil's staying with Canada. What do you think, Matt?
I went with someone that always does really well in the Winter Olympics. My actual initial first thought was the United States, because I know lately they've been dominating, especially once they added snowboarding and some of the skiing events. And I'm going to regret not staying with the U.S., I think, but I put Norway.
So your gut feeling based on per capita, Norway is a very small country as far as population, and they are remarkably good at the Winter Olympics. It is Norway.
Yeah.
Yeah, in my head I had Switzerland, Norway, and Finland, but I don't know why I went with Canada.
Finland always does really well at speed skating, and I know Sweden's really good at skiing events and that kind of thing, but Norway kind of excels at all of those events. So,
all right, question 9. What was Mickey Mouse's original first name?
Yeah, I've never heard this before, so this is just going to be a guess. I have a guess based on some kind of logic, so...
Okay.
Based on an episode of The Simpsons about Itchy and Scratchy.
It's not Ricky Rouse is not the answer. Manic Mailman.
All right, if you guys are both in, let's throw it over to Matt.
What
was your logic?
So my logic was Mickey Mouse first appears in Steamboat Willie, so I said Willie.
I also put Steamboat Willie, and the answer being Willie.
And Ken would like to interject here.
Mortimer
Mouse.
Oh. Well, we were close.
Yeah. Willie and Mortimer.
So who was Willie, and what is the Steamboat?
Steamboat Willie was the first animated feature of Mickey Mouse.
But who was Willie?
Well, Mickey was... I think it was considered that Mickey was like the actor.
Okay.
Like playing a character of Steamboat Willie.
That's very peculiar. Good information, though.
It is pretty
Am I
accurate.
correct in that?
If I'm not mistaken, you are correct on that. Yeah. It's like Mickey Mouse is portraying the character of
Right,
Steamboat
like
Willie.
Mickey Mouse and Steamboat Willie.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right, and last question of the round. C8H10N4O2 is the chemical formula for what common drug?
Do you mean common drug as in something people take every day, or drug meaning illegal substance? If that's
it is not an illegal substance.
Okay.
I have an answer.
Just thinking of common drugs that it could be. It's not an illegal substance. It leads me to aspirin, Tylenol, acetaminophen. I don't know. I'm just going to put morphine.
Well, for clarification, I will stress drug, just as in every sense that you might think of it.
I changed my answer.
Yep,
Okay.
Same. Now I'm locked in.
All right, what are you thinking, Matt?
Well, I was originally thinking peroxide because of the amount of hydrogen, but when you were stressing drug, I switched to ibuprofen.
Okay, and you, Neil?
I put caffeine.
Matt, as someone who serves coffee quite often, it is caffeine.
Oh my god!
Man.
Yeah.
Well, just for clarification, I gave up caffeine 6 years ago, and I guess that formula just
Did you
went
really?
right out my brain. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I haven't had a drop of caffeine in over 6 years.
It's probably good for you. While
That's why you do so much coke.
While it's not likely that caffeine will probably harm you long term, it does have drug habit forming tendencies.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Well, to wrap up the first half of the game, we have Neil with 30 points and Matt with 20 points. It's not a strong scoring round, but a close game nonetheless.
all right. So our midpoint today is going to be one of our favorites. It's a tug of war. So I'm going to have Matt lead us off since he is behind in points. Very, very simple one here. We're just going to go back and forth. And I want you to name countries that border the Mediterranean.
You son of a bitch!
Come on. This is so easy.
You're talking to the entertainment, sports,
Yeah.
movies guys.
Okay. I know a country.
Okay.
Single elimination.
Yeah.
We'll do double elimination. You can have 2 wrong
Hey.
before I strike you out.
I could have a lot more wrong if you give me enough chances.
And 10 points apiece.
And sure, 10 points apiece.
Yeah. All right. So am I going first?
Yes, you are.
How about Greece?
Yeah, Greece,
Got one.
Italy.
Italy,
This is where Turkey.
Yep, that's another one for Matt.
Spain.
Spain, indeed.
Hungary.
Hungary is not on my list.
Okay. It's around there though, right? In the region, maybe.
So Hungary is a little bit north,
Okay.
up the Peloponnesian Peninsula. It'd be north of like Serbia, Romania, those kinds of
Okay.
things. Croatia.
Matt said, so we've said Turkey, Italy, Spain, and Greece.
Mm-hmm.
Saudi Arabia.
Nope, sorry. That is one wrong for Neil on Saudi Arabia. Back to Matt.
I'm gonna say Albania.
Albania is bordering the Mediterranean.
Yeah.
Wales.
So Wales does not border the Mediterranean. And Matt, you want to see if you can make it a bit of a knockout?
I would like to do that. We'll see how this goes. I'm just trying to think of countries that have conflict over there because I know that there's kind of a lot. I'm gonna say Serbia.
Serbia is landlocked, and so it does not have access to the Mediterranean.
That's it.
That's it.
All right.
So Matt had 3 correct
Yeah.
there. Neil had 2. So our game is tied at 50-50.
All right.
An
All right.
exciting swing around of Mediterranean knowledge.
So let's fill in a little bit of the other ones here. If we start in North Africa, which I was hoping some people would at least.
I was
going to
go to Africa, and I was like, no, that's not right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was curious as
I
to
never
why
go to
nobody
Africa.
went to
Yeah,
North
so
Africa.
so we'll kind of go counterclockwise here, starting in North Africa. Morocco, Algeria,
Maybe.
Tunisia, Libya, Egypt. Then we head over into Israel, and then Lebanon, up into Syria to Turkey. You have Cyprus actually in the Mediterranean. Heading over, you have Greece. And then I gave you Albania. I mean, you could argue it's in the Adriatic or the Ionian. But, I was just... Anything that touched the body of water directly in the Mediterranean, I figured geography is not your strong suit, we'll give you there.
Hey.
Over to Italy. And then you would have France. And then, of course, the small, tiny nation of Monaco. And rounding it back out, you'd have Spain. And if someone was crazy enough, I would have given you the UK instead of Gibraltar.
Wow.
So, as Gibraltar is a territory of the UK. So, round 2, question 1. What type of biome, whose name has a homonymic relationship with the rapper Michael Ray Stevenson, is characterized by coniferous forests?
I took environmental biology, and none of the biomes are coming into my brain right now.
I just keep seeing Stephen Baldwin and Pauly Shore.
Yes, that's
Biodome.
It's very different.
I see the biodome in my head. Oh man, I've never even heard of Michael Ray Stevenson.
Well, you would know his alter ego, which is, I believe, the clue.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I have an answer.
All right.
It's wrong.
Just trying to think of rappers.
Yeah, I was going down that path, and I'm like, I'm never going to get there if I go through every rapper. And just like...
All right. So, let's see, Matt was first here. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, the only biome I could think of was wetlands, so I said wetlands.
All right. And Neil?
I put Redman or Redman.
So I know Matt has familiarity with this artist because I've heard him mention the name before. Ken, do you happen to have a guess here?
No.
Spelled 2 different ways, a coniferous forest or a rapper would be taiga.
Oh.
All right. Question number 2 of round 2. What date is Armistice Day?
I have an answer.
Okay.
What do you...
All right, I guess I'm in.
Let Neil go first.
All right, Neil.
I put June 7th.
Oh. I put April 1st because it's a joke.
Gotcha. So, Armistice Day is November 11th.
Oh.
It is now called
Veterans
Day. I know. I probably wouldn't even know when that is, to be honest. I know it was a day I got off from school. So.
Yeah, I'm not going to say
I probably
June 7th, but...
Probably should have went to school
I
that day.
remember that one because they always said the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month.
Oh.
I just always remember that every year.
11/11/1919. All right, so question 3. What is the largest state in the U.S. by population to not have a professional sports team from the Big 5 sports? NFL, MLB, NBA, MLS, NHL.
Oh, my God. MLS. You throw it in there. You said by population, though, right?
By population, yep.
Yeah, I'm going through a bunch of cities knowing that they do have sports teams. Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, Phoenix.
You're looking for the state, right?
Yep, state with the largest population to not have all 5 of those.
Well, glad I went through all that. Well, I'm down to 2 states, and I'll say it out loud because we are... not breaking the bank with our scores here.
I'm locked in anyway.
So. Oh, you are locked. Okay. I don't even know if they have large populations, but I'm just trying to think of states that don't have sports teams. And I know Nevada will not get one for 2 years with the Raiders, and New Mexico.
They're getting the Vegas Golden Knights next year.
Next year, okay, so they still don't have it. So I'm thinking of Nevada and New Mexico. I know Albuquerque is a pretty big city, a lot of people, but I mean, Las Vegas is a lot of tourism, but I know it's a big state. So I'm just going to... I kind of want to go New Mexico, but I'm just going to go Nevada just for the hell of it.
Yeah.
And what do you think, Matt?
All right, so like I threw out like Wyoming, North Dakota, South Dakota, a lot of those kind of sparsely populated states that I know don't have them. I got stuck in the southeast, and I was looking at Mississippi, Arkansas, South Carolina, but I came back to the Midwest, and I'm not sure, but I know they definitely don't have any of the teams. I said Iowa.
Okay. So I'm assuming part of the reason that this state doesn't have a lot of sports franchises on its own is because it has a large metropolitan area near it where there are teams. So D.C. has a lot of teams. Virginia doesn't.
Right. I wrote Virginia down.
Yeah, Virginia is actually one of the 10 most populated states. All right, so on to the question 4 of round 2. Eric Blair was a dystopian writer, better known by what pen name?
All right. My answer's in, and the only reason I know this is because I was going to ask a question on another episode, but I will not have to now.
Authors that I know. All right.
All right, so Neil had some confidence here. What do you say, Neil?
I went with George Orwell.
Yeah, that sounds way more right. I went with the dystopian author Ray Bradbury.
Ooh, Ray Bradbury is a solid choice, but Neil is in fact correct.
Yeah.
It is George Orwell. On to question 5. Again, my sports questions are always kind of weird, so I have another sports question I'll go with. Hopefully this is one that's more in Matt's wheelhouse. With a seating capacity of over 107,000, what is the largest stadium in the United States? You may also know it by its nickname, the Big House.
I'm in.
Yeah. I know what the Big House is, but I don't know the name of the stadium. So.
Oh, can we name the team, or do we need the name of the stadium?
I will. If you can tell me the name of the team, that's fine.
Okay.
It should be pretty close to the name of the stadium.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you both have answers in already. It looks like so.
Yeah.
Where would you be found if you're at the Big House, Matt?
I said University of Michigan.
Yep. All right, Neil.
That's a good guess or a good answer. And you just made me think of another college arena, but I put the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
So
that's AT&T Stadium.
AT&T Stadium has a actual seating capacity of only about 85,000.
Yeah.
The bowl shape of the Big House is Michigan Stadium.
Yeah.
So.
I was thinking initially I was thinking the Rose Bowl or the Coliseum in USC, but they're somewhere around between 80 and 90 as well.
Yeah. You are packed in like sardines. It's unpleasant, but it does have the highest seating capacity of any stadium in the U.S.
It's a really great view if you're up near the top.
So, quick update. We are tied at 60-60.
Yeah.
So, on to question 6. What digital currency is Satoshi Nakamoto credited with inventing?
I'm going to lock in one.
I'm in, yeah.
All right. Neil?
Just not to fool around, I just went with Bitcoin. I said it in another answer in another episode, and it was wrong, so I'm just going to try it until it's right.
And Matt, what do you think on that one?
Yeah, when you said the name, I started thinking if it was some kind of Nintendo currency to purchase, but then I just went with Bitcoin.
And Bitcoin is correct.
Okay, good.
All right.
On to question 7. Within 5, how many average times a year is the shooter in an accidental shooting a toddler? This statistic is only for the United States.
What a morbid question. How many times are toddlers shooting up people is the question, right?
That is correct. In the United States, how many times a year is someone shot by a toddler?
How many times within 5?
Yeah. How many times average?
Yeah.
All right, so you're both in?
Yep.
Yeah. I put 75.
Okay, and
I think there's no way that there's between 70 and 80 toddlers shooting people. I put 15 to give me between 10 and 20. That seems more reasonable.
You need to split the difference a little bit between your two answers. 52 times a year on average, someone is shot by a toddler in the U.S.
I was going to put 50, and I'm like, yeah, maybe it's more.
You have only the parents to blame.
So in the state of Iowa, it is not illegal for a baby to possess a firearm.
There you have it. Common sense gun laws right there.
A gun for every baby.
That's right. On to more of a potpourri kind of question for question 8. What is the alliterative name for a collection of cats?
What C word would you use to describe a bunch of cats?
That's correct.
Well, what?
It does have an alternate name. So you could call them this, or the other word is a glaring, is something else that you might call a group of cats. So to rule that one out for you, because that doesn't start with a C.
All right, I'm wrong.
I've given up on life. Also, figuring out this question.
This will be Matt's last episode. Probably my last episode. Look for 2 new hosts.
All right, Matt. Before you give up on life, would you like to give me your answer?
I would. I went with a cat crew. A crew of cats.
Neil?
I just like the way it sounds. It's not right at all, but I put a cacophony of cats.
I like that. You might call a collection of cats a glaring or a clouder.
Someone bring us one of those Iowa babies and put us out of our misery.
Let's get that number up a little bit.
Fair enough.
room for 4 more on the list.
Just when I thought today was going to be easy going.
Yeah.
All right. Question 9. What psychologist investigated obedience using electric shocks?
Ooh.
Oh, come on. I knew all of these guys.
I took abnormal psychology in 2006, so it's pretty fresh in my mind.
There's a very nice film out about this gentleman as well.
I know it's the wrong answer. I'm just going to put a psychologist.
Yeah, I'm going to be really mad once I hear it out loud, because the movie just came out, right? I mean,
Maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah. I don't have an answer, so I'm going to tap out. Because I'm not going to say Freud, because that's the only one I could think of, and I know he's wrong. So
Freud was not really an experimental psychologist, which is what this person would be. But Neil, you have an answer?
I went with the psychologist who studied sex. I went with Kinsey.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Ken might know the answer to this if you want to.
No, I can't remember his name either.
Oh, you can't? That's Stanley Milgram.
Yeah, the Milgram experiments.
Milgram experiments.
And there was that one where there actually wasn't shocking, but he was telling people that they were being shocked.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So he was studying obedience,
right.
Basically, in that study.
And he found that most people would actually keep shocking people. They didn't really care for other people's well-beings if they were told to do it.
Correct. It was upon suggestion.
Yeah.
So they weren't the participants were never forced to do it. Nobody ever grabbed their hand and actually made them do it. But upon just light suggestion and insistence that everything was going okay and this is how the test would go, quite a few people made it all the way to the end.
Yeah.
Was that the one where they had someone in another room and they would be
screaming?
screaming?
Yep, they hired an actor and they would be progressively screaming and screaming, and if they made it high enough, they would become unresponsive, and people would still be shocking them, even though presumably they would be either unconscious or maybe dead at that point. But it's quite remarkable to watch some of the original footage, and it's also really terrifying.
Yeah. If you want to see it reenacted, it's in the film called The Experimenter, which pun aside is a really good experimental sort of indie film. So
and here at Triviality during this game we're gonna try a little bit of shock therapy to hopefully get our scores up.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you said that and that you weren't going to try and shock me as punishment for...
Oh, it'll come. You just won't know when. It might be in your car seat. Just turn the key.
It might be in the form of a tire iron.
Could be.
All right, on to the final question. The island of Great Britain is made up of what 3 autonomous regions?
Okay, I'm in.
Yeah, I think I know.
Something for some more movie questions, but all we got was Rowan Atkinson and Lion
You got it wrong.
I know.
I don't have a lot of great movie questions. I am working on that for you, Neil. But it's hard for me to write to you because I don't know. I don't know what's easy and what's hard because I don't have a lot of film knowledge. So I either go really obscure or really, really shamefully easy.
All right.
Answers are in.
Answers are in. So let's turn to Matt on this one.
Yeah. I know Wales is one. I'm pretty sure Scotland's one, and I think England's the third, but I might be wrong.
I put Wales, Ireland, and Scotland.
One of you has the correct answer. That would be Matt.
Yeah.
It's Wales, Scotland, and England.
Yeah, I should have put Ireland.
Ireland is its own island.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I mean, Northern Ireland is part of the UK, but the actual island of Great Britain, England, Scotland, and Wales.
Okay, now ending a regulation, we have the score of Neil with 70 and Matt with 80.
Hey, that's all right.
He takes a slight lead going into the final.
So after 20 questions, we've reached the end of regulation. Ken has already recapped us with the scores. So let me just announce the final 5 categories. Each player, again, can wager 0 to 30 points on every question using the points that they have earned during regulation. And here are your categories. Question 1, Bond, James Bond. Question 2 is in chemistry, which I'm assuming those are already no bets. Question 3, 90s one-hit wonders.
Yes.
Matt's super excited.
Yeah.
Apparently I went a little geography heavy. Question 4, geography.
Oh.
And question 5 will be in video games. All right.
The wagers are in on my end.
The wagers are in. All right. All right. So, question 1 in the category of Bond, James Bond.
Junior.
Who portrayed James Bond in the movie on Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Oh, good. I don't know this at all.
One of my favorites, actually, underrated.
Yeah, all right. Question 2 in chemistry. Which abundant element is so extremely rare in its pure elemental form, Napoleon used to use it only to serve his highest esteemed guests, choosing it over gold. Thanks to the Bayer process, it's nearly disposable today. All right, so 90s one-hit wonders. Harvey Danger went around the world and found that only stupid people were breeding in what 1998 one-hit wonder? Matt seems quite happy with this question.
One of my favorite one-hit wonders of all time.
Question 4 in geography. What is the largest lake in the world?
By volume.
Nope, by surface area.
Okay.
Oh, I think I read this one.
Question 5 in video games. FIFA 2001 and Gran Turismo 3 had discs that encouraged scratching to reveal what feature?
All right. I'm locked in with all my answers.
All right, and Neil, where are you at with yours?
Let's
Just go ahead. We can go ahead.
All right,
get the
so-
answers and find out who is the cream.
All right, so what were our wagers on question 1, Ken?
Okay, number 1, Bond. Neil wagered 30, and Matt wagered 0.
All right, so Neil with the high stakes here. What did you say? Who portrayed James Bond in on Her Majesty's Secret Service?
It was the Australian actor who portrayed James Bond in one of the films where his love interest dies, which didn't really happen before that. And it was his wife, which he hadn't had a wife until that time. It was George Lazenby.
Oh. I said Roger Moore, even though it doesn't matter.
So only one portrayal from this particular actor, George Lazenby,
That's a
is
tough one.
absolutely correct.
I always thought his performance was good, but, what do I know?
All right, and on to question 2 in chemistry. Ken, what were the wagers?
That's big zeros.
Ah, okay. Well, let's see. Matt, what did you think on that one?
I was thinking tin.
Okay. And Neil, what was your guess?
I put aluminium.
So it is in fact aluminum.
Oh my god!
Aluminum is exceptionally abundant. I've seen actually people throw their cans in the garbage. That's how common it is today. But in nature, it's exceptionally rare to find it in its pure elemental form. So it was quite expensive until relatively recently. All right, question 3 in one-hit wonders. What were the wagers?
Neil had 10, Matt had 30.
All right, and I know Matt had a bit of confidence with this one, so let's take it to him.
Yep. It's a flagpole sit-up.
All right, and Neil, you tapped out on that one?
I tapped out. I kept thinking of the chorus and singing it. I couldn't think of the name of the song.
And of course, Matt is correct. Flagpole Sitta was Harvey Danger's 1998 one-hit wonder. Geography. What is wager on that? I'm assuming zeros around.
Yeah, that's going to be the pair of goose eggs.
All right, who wants to? Anyone with an actual guess on that one?
I couldn't even tell you what the question was, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to put like the Great Salt Lake, but I don't think that's right.
Yeah.
But
I remember studying this, and I know there's some big ones in the U.S., but I couldn't remember.
So, the largest lake in the world is actually a saltwater lake. It's the Caspian Sea.
Ah.
All right, looks like it's all going to come down to wagers on the last question
Yeah.
for
Well,
Video Juegos.
What were they?
It's 10 for Neil and
30.
Matt with 30.
Okay. So, FIFA 2001 and Gran Turismo 3 had discs that encouraged scratching to reveal what feature. Matt with the big wager.
yeah, so 2001 Gran Turismo 3, I believe it's for the PS2, which came with anti-skip technology, so I put anti-skip technology.
Okay. And Neil.
I just put online capability, but I know that was too early.
So they encouraged scratching because FIFA 2001 and Gran Turismo were scratch and sniff discs.
No way.
Whoa.
FIFA smelled like a soccer pitch and Gran Turismo 3 smelled like rubber.
Well, if you guys hadn't had enough game yet, it looks like we are tied. So we're going to have to go to overtime to find out who is the cream of the crop.
I would have just bet anything besides 30 on that last one.
I should have just bet on aluminum, but who knows? I mean, it's chemistry.
Yeah, you don't know.
If you both just write answers down, there's no time, so it's not the first one to ring in here. It's just we're just gonna go until someone falls in a little bit of a knockout fashion. What was the name of the teacher who died in the tragic Space Shuttle Challenger disaster?
Yeah, I don't know. Go.
Sally Ride?
Miss Trunchbull.
That was Krista McAuliffe.
Miss Trunchbull.
I'm taking this very seriously.
All right. Next question. What Harvard dropout co-founded Microsoft? All right, both in. Let's go to Matt. He had the first one.
Now I was like, oh, it's definitely Bill Gates. And then I was like, yeah, maybe it's Woz. And I was like, I don't know if I'm right at all. But I put Bill Gates.
Neil?
I was showing between Steve Ballmer, Bill Gates, and Paul Allen, so I put Paul Allen.
It was Bill Gates.
Yeah.
I thought that was too easy.
It was too easy.
Yeah.
So I believe Matt
My first victory.
has a victory.
Take that, everyone else.
Yeah. It's the cream of the crop.
Unjustifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in, but the cream will rise to the top. Oh yeah.
I've been buried these last few weeks.
Matt rises to the top.
Ugh, that was really like an endurance game.
Yeah,
I feel like
Justifiably in a position I'd rather not be.
Well, congratulations, Matt. Thank you, Ken, for being our scorekeeper. If you'd like to play along with our contestants, make sure to check out our Facebook page, download our official Triviality score sheet that we use here in the studio. And how can people get in touch with us, Ken?
Yeah, didn't that sound fun? Don't you want to join in on all the action? But you could get in touch with us on Twitter using the handle @TrivialityPod or on Facebook. If you'd like to get in touch with us by email, send all messages to trivialitypodcast@gmail.com. And if it's question 5 submission, make sure you put in the subject line question 5. And we'd love to hear from you. You can also put the host in mind on the email so we know not to look at it.
All right, thanks, Ken. And, of course, other than spreading the word that way, the best way you can support the show is by rating, reviewing, and subscribing to Triviality on your favorite podcast app. Until the next game, on behalf of Ken, Matt, Neil, and myself, again, my name is Jeff, and that was Triviality.
Bye-bye.
I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts, dee-dee-dee-dee. There they are, standing in a row. Big one, small one, some as big as your head. No, I would never have had to do this for Mufasa.
What? What did you say?
Nothing.
You know the law. Never ever mention that name in my presence. I am the king.
Yes, sire, you are the king. I only mentioned it to illustrate the differences in your royal managerial approaches.